There's a subtle lift in the air today. Not loud, not overwhelming, but enough to make you feel like something is opening. You might notice it as a quiet sense of possibility, like things could move forward, like something could finally work. And yet, beneath that lift, there's a faint stretch, as if part of you is leaning ahead of where you actually are. Take a moment and just notice that. The part of you that feels ready, and the part of you that feels like it's trying to keep up with that readiness. Today doesn't begin with pressure. It begins with expansion. But expansion has a texture. Sometimes it feels like excitement. Sometimes it feels like urgency. And sometimes it feels like you're being pulled slightly out of your center. You might catch yourself thinking further ahead than usual, imagining outcomes, projecting possibilities, seeing the bigger picture before fully standing in the present moment. And that's where today lives, in that space between where you are and where you suddenly feel like you could be. There's nothing wrong with that movement, but there is something to be aware of. Because when your energy moves forward faster than your awareness, you stop choosing and start chasing. So just pause here, not to stop the expansion, but to feel where it's coming from. Is it grounded, or is it trying to escape where you are? You don't need to answer immediately. Just notice. Because today isn't asking you to shrink back. It's asking you to move forward without leaving yourself behind. What you're feeling today has a source, even if it doesn't immediately make sense. There's a quiet expansion happening beneath your awareness, a widening, a sense that things could open, that something more is available to you. And this isn't random. Today carries the influence of a Sun square Jupiter, a moment where your sense of self and your sense of possibility begin to stretch against each other. The Sun represents how you see yourself, your direction, your identity in motion. Jupiter expands whatever it touches. It doesn't ask if you're ready. It simply makes things feel bigger. So when these two meet in tension, you don't just feel growth, you feel pressure to grow. And that pressure can be subtle. It can show up as optimism that feels slightly inflated, confidence that arrives before clarity, decisions that feel right but haven't fully landed in your body. You might feel like saying yes faster than usual, moving quicker than you normally would, trusting an idea before questioning it. And part of you believes it because Jupiter doesn't whisper, it amplifies. But here's what's important to understand. This isn't false, it's just magnified. The opportunities may be real, the direction may be right, the desire may be aligned, but the scale, the timing, the certainty, those can become distorted. So what you're feeling isn't just confidence, it's expanded perception. And expanded perception can feel like truth, even when it's slightly ahead of reality. That's why today can feel like standing on the edge of something. Not quite unstable, but not fully grounded either. You're seeing further, but you're not fully there yet. And that gap between vision and embodiment is where most misalignment happens. Not because you're wrong, but because you move too quickly to match what you see. So today isn't here to stop you. It's here to show you how you respond when things start to open. Do you stay with yourself, or do you run ahead of who you are right now?
This is where the subtle shift happens. Not in what you feel, but in how you respond to it. Because expansion, when it isn't grounded, can quietly turn into excess. And excess doesn't always look obvious. Sometimes it looks like saying yes when you haven't fully checked in with yourself. Sometimes it feels like certainty that hasn't been tested yet, or movement that's slightly faster than your awareness. You might notice a pull today, a desire to act, to decide, to move forward. And that pull can feel clean at first, motivating, encouraging. But if you slow it down just slightly, you may notice something underneath it. A need to prove something, a need to reach something, a need to become something quickly. And that's where the misalignment begins. Because when growth becomes something you chase instead of something you embody, you disconnect from the very thing that makes it real. Today, the risk isn't failure, it's overextension. Taking on more than you can hold, believing more than you've integrated, trusting something without fully feeling it through. And the mind can justify it easily. It feels right. It makes sense. It's an opportunity. But your body moves differently. It doesn't rush. It doesn't inflate. It doesn't need to prove anything. So if there's a moment today where something feels slightly ahead of you, pause there. Not to stop yourself, but to check if you're still with yourself. Because misalignment doesn't happen all at once. It happens in small moments where you override a subtle hesitation, where you ignore a quiet signal, where you choose speed over presence. And none of this makes you wrong. It just shows you how easy it is to confuse expansion with readiness. So let this be the calibration. You don't need to shrink your vision. You don't need to doubt what's opening, but you do need to stay connected to where you actually are. Because real growth doesn't pull you out of yourself. It deepens you into it. So how do you move through a day like this without losing your center? You don't resist the expansion. You refine your relationship to it. Start by slowing down your responses. Not your momentum, just your reaction to what's opening. There's no need to say yes immediately. No need to decide everything right now. Let things sit with you. If something feels exciting, give it space. If something feels certain, question it gently. Not to doubt yourself, but to let your awareness catch up with your impulse. Today is less about action and more about alignment before action. So before you move forward, check where you're moving from. Is it grounded, or is it coming from a need to expand quickly? You can ask yourself something simple. Am I choosing this, or am I being pulled into it? And then feel the difference. Because when you're choosing, there's steadiness, there's clarity, there's a quiet sense of timing. But when you're being pulled, there's urgency, there's pressure, there's a subtle disconnection from your body. So come back to your body today.
not as an idea, but as a reference point. Notice how it responds to the things you're considering. Does it soften or does it tighten? Does it feel open or slightly rushed? You don't need perfect answers. You just need honest signals. And from there, move a little slower than you think you should. Let your actions come from clarity, not momentum. Let your decisions come from presence, not pressure. Because today isn't about how far you can go. It's about how aligned you are while you're moving. And when you move from alignment, even small steps carry real power.
Let this settle slowly. You don't need to figure everything out today. You don't need to act on every feeling that rises. Some things are just here to be seen. So take a moment and come back to yourself. Not the version of you that's trying to move ahead, but the version of you that is here, right now. Breathing. Observing. Aware. There's a quiet strength in that place. A kind of stability that doesn't need urgency to feel real. And from here, you can begin to notice the difference. The difference between what is truly aligned and what simply feels expansive. They can feel similar at first. But alignment is steady. It doesn't rush you. It doesn't pressure you. It doesn't ask you to prove anything. It allows you to move without losing yourself in the movement. So as you move through the rest of your day, just carry a simple awareness with you. When something pulls your attention forward, pause. Feel where you are, and then choose from that place. Not from excitement alone, not from pressure, not from the need to become something quickly, but from presence. Because who you are right now is already enough to take the next step. You don't need to stretch beyond yourself to grow. You just need to stay with yourself as growth happens. And if this reflection helped you slow down, even slightly, stay with that. Come back to it when the day starts to speed up again. And if you want to continue moving through these daily shifts with more clarity, more awareness, you can return here. Each day as a way to realign with yourself. Not by changing who you are, but by staying connected to what's true within you.